to the cloud, start up my pen. Okay, everyone. So here is how the AMAs work. For those of you who've never been to one of these before, my name's Arel Moody. I'm one of the co-founders of Talkadot. The whole purpose of these sessions is to answer any question you have about how to use Talkadot, how to set it up. You just gave a speaking engagement. Now what do I do? Or I'm about to give a speaking engagement. What do I do? Or I want to do this and I don't know how to do this. Or anything that falls in between there. The only stupid question is the one not asked. If you feel like, oh, everyone else is here and they know how to use the tool, I want to ask a really simple question like, how do I download a testimonial? But this is where you're supposed to ask it. It doesn't matter if you or an expert or a new user. We're here to answer every and all questions that you have. We don't have a structure to these calls, so it's not like I'm teaching you something and you're receiving it. This is all about you asking questions. So in a moment, I'm going to open it up, and you'll be able to raise your hand. With the raise hand, it's under the reactions. If you just raise your hand, you'll see that pop up right there, and then we'll use that as our cue to answer questions and answer as many as we can. Before we do that, I just want to make I think it's two, but I want to make a couple of really, really important announcements in case you are unaware. The first one, let me share my screen here. Are all of you aware of the automatic email feature that we have? For those of you who are not aware of the automatic email feature, I just want to point this out because this is one of our newer features and we want you to be aware of it. So if you click on your face on the upper right-hand corner and go down to your settings, and all you got to do is scroll down to this where it says email campaign settings and make sure to toggle these to on. If you toggle these to on, everyone who comes into your email list, either as an email opt-in, a booking lead, or a referral lead, will get a system-generated automatic email from us. So it looks like this right here. Hey, thanks. So let's say someone fills out your survey. When they're done, they'll get an email with your bonus. And if you don't have a bonus, they'll get an email and say, connect with us on social media. So you can build your social media following. You can get your bonus out to people. For those that are interested in booking you to speak, we have a pre-built booking template that will come from our system. So to say, thanks so much for attending my presentation. You said you'd be interested to discuss booking me. Let's jump on a call. If you have your calendar link set in your settings, and for those of you who don't know about the calendar link, it's right here where it says meeting link. You can put in whatever is you can book me, schedule once, whatever, Calendly, whatever you use to book yourself. We'll put that link in there for you. If you don't have that in there, our email won't put that in there. And then we have an email that goes out to referral. You can see exactly what any of these emails say by clicking on these three dots and put view email template. To pre-answer the question that I know one of you is already thinking, can I edit that email? I want it to say exactly what I want it to say. The answer right now is no, and it's for a very, very specific reason. Number one, for those of you who are unaware, I won't bore you with this. There's been lots of changes to email deliverability. Lots of changes are coming in. So what's happening is we have to make sure the emails actually get to the inbox. So to do that, we have to make sure there's no words that are going to flag as spam. So if we let you edit it and it comes from our system and you throw in words like, do you want free drugs? Not that any of you would ever say that, but those are like spam words. So our system will get spammed. Now, if you're like, but Arel, I really do want to edit it. I want to make it say what I want. Well, we've got some great news. We have a Zapier integration. For those of you who are not married to Pam's husband and you don't have your tech person working with you, Zapier is a tool that connects anything to anything. So you can have an automatic integration with Zapier for free that every time your emails come into our system, they automatically get moved over to your MailChimp or your ConvertKit or your, whatever your email system is. And then you can make any and all emails customizations that you want, and they'll send directly from you. So it's all automated. You don't even have to download your CSV anymore. We've created that. So we're super excited about those two new releases. So those are things I want you to...
Is there a link to directions on how to tie Zapier in? Because that's one of my questions today.
Oh, yeah.
How to actually do it?
Yeah, I can. I feel like I should have. Hold on. I can't remember if I made a video and the tutorial video. Hold on. Let me check my catalog here. So the answer is yes. And if not, I'm going to make one right now and send it to you because I can't remember if I made one and then didn't like it and I never sent it. Oh Lord, have mercy. No one judge me. I am human and so not perfect. I'm gonna hook you up, Paul. I'm gonna show you how to do that. I don't have it here. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to stop sharing. If you have questions, oh, last one. Oh, Jasmine said, does this alter any SpeakerFlow integrations? No, no. If you have SpeakerFlow, you're good to go. For those of you who have SpeakerFlow, we have our SpeakerFlow integration. You turn that on, it works. There's no confusion whatsoever between the two. They're just not everyone is a SpeakerFlow user. We love SpeakerFlow. We have a direct integration with SpeakerFlow. SpeakerFlow is like the best CRM for speakers. This is for folks who want to send it to like MailChimp or ConvertKit or something else. Okay, also, the other thing we're going to do, this is going to be cool. And then I swear we're going to jump in. Hold on, but I want you to know about these announcements before anyone else does. When you log into your accounts moving forward, do you see this help button right here on the upper right hand corner? Right now, when you click on that, it tells you, yo, shoot us an email, go to our FAQ page. We are actually building out right here a really, really cool internal community within Talkadot. So when you log into our account, you're going to be able to have like discussion boards. And if you have questions like Paul said, like, I want to integrate Zapier. I don't want to wait to talk to Arel. He's boring. I'd rather talk to Anne Ryan. She's way better at life than Arel is, and she knows how to use Zapier. It's going to be a way we have so many users now, which is awesome. It's going to be ways for people to support each other, ask questions. We'll still do these. We'll still answer all your emails. Nothing changes there. But we realize our community is so robust and so awesome. We're going to make it easier for you to communicate and connect with each other. So that's something we're going to be launching really, really soon. And then all of our recordings for like all pro trainings, all of our documents and resources will all be in one place. So it's going to be really easy to access everything: email templates, coupon codes, tickets to see Nimona on Netflix. I couldn't get the Netflix out. It's a good movie if you haven't seen it. And Sister wrote it. I just keep hyping her up. Okay. Let's jump into questions. I see some questions in the chat. If you have your hand raised, raise your hand. I'm going to go to Barbara in the chat, and then I'm going to go to Rakita and then Joe because he is handsome. Barbara, I have to enter the app. I used to book a call with me. I thought it had to be Calendly. No, it doesn't have to be Calendly. It can be anything. Basically, we just send people to that link that you tell us to send people to. So if you want to use You Can Book Me, or I use Google Calendar scheduling software for my event planner. Just preference, no particular reason why. But you can put anything you want there. Rick, am I saying your name wrong? Okay, Rakita.
No, it's Rakita. You're saying it correctly.
Okay, I was so self-conscious because when you got a name like ours, people always mispronounce it. So anyway, what's up, Rakita?
No, I appreciate you for asking. Here's my question. So let's say I've just had an engagement. People are like, yep, I want to get on your email list. And I am working on segmenting my email list, right? If I just want to pick a handful of people from the leads to download, is there a way for me to do that without downloading the entire list of leads?
Absolutely, yeah. So let me show you how to do that. So this is a great question. Share my screen. So here's what I would recommend doing. You can go to your, so this is your homepage. When you log into our account, you come right here to your homepage, and these are all of the speaking engagements that you gave. Let's say I wanted to take, I don't know, these people here from San Bernardino. I can just click here and then go to download leads. And then this will download everyone from that one speaking engagement. So if there were certain speaking engagements you wanted to download, it downloads them as a CSV file. And then, oops, it's up here. Boop. And then everyone from that one speaking engagement is in this one file, and then you can do that. If you go to your My Lead section and hit download, you would just have to edit out because it does download all of the leads there. So you just have to sort it through whatever spreadsheet, whether it's Google spreadsheet or Excel or numbers that you use.
My question is, let's use the San Bernardino one as an example. Let's say out of this San Bernardino group, I really just want the students that were in this group. or I
Yeah.
just want the nurses that were in this group, but not the full group. How would I like
They
extract?
would have to identify that they are just the student or just the nurse in that particular case. So when you download our system, it grabs their first name, their last name, their talk title, their organization. Now, the only people who add the job title are the people who indicated that they were leads of some shape, form, or fashion. So if they were like nurses and I want just the nurses or just the students, that would be a little bit more challenging because that's a nuance um, of distinction. Now, what you could do is in your additional qualitative question, when you go here and you're going to add another Talkadot code, let me actually edit one so I don't create another one in my account. So if you go to edit code, when you go next, you can add an additional question. So if you wanted to somehow pick out the people in your audience, like, are you a nurse? Let me know here. I've got something for you. That sounds a little weird, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like you could create that and then those people who answer it, that could be a filter for you. But other than that, you would have to look at each email and say, does that look like a student to me? The easiest way to tell if it's a student or not a student is if their job title is like director of executive leadership or something. Then you can filter these and then remove all of those folks. So that's the best way to do it, but there's no easy way because you'd have to um, ask that specific question somewhere to be able to filter that.
Okay.
You're giving me a pause face because I'm not truly answering the question the way you wanted me to, and I want to answer it the way you want me to. What can you tell me what the exact use case is, and then maybe I can maybe better help in that case.
Yeah, I just, like I said, if you have a group and I just have a certain set of folks that I want to extract out that group as I'm creating these different segments as I use Flowdesk. So sometimes I can tell if they are, I know who I want. I can usually tell who I want from the descriptions or whatever from the data, but I'm
Yep.
finding even when I go to my leads and I'm just clicking specific people to download, it's still
Mhm.
giving me all of them on the CSV. So
Yeah, we're that one of the things on the My Lead section when you click on like 12 people and then hit download, our system does pull all of them down right now. So it's not like, hey, I just want these 5 people and then download. So and that's something we have to fix. So we're aware of that bug. So right now, the best way to fix it is to sort them within the CSV file themselves. So download everything and then just sort the people that way. That's something that we're hoping to have fixed in the next UX pass, which is in our next dev cycle. So fingers crossed, we're aware of it. We haven't fixed that one yet, but we're working on it.
okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome so much. Thanks for being with
Hey,
us.
Arel, just to jump in here, couldn't Rakita, did I say it right? Okay.
Yep.
Couldn't she also, when she downloads that CSV file, add some tags for her CRM on her own? So when she at least uploads it to her CRM, you can search for them based on those tags.
100%. Yeah. If you download your CSV file and just create a new column that says like, student or nurse, and then just put student, 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 student. And when you upload them, you can choose them in your CRM to say this column, say everyone with student, move them over to that. 100% on the table. Cool. All right. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate that. All right. Next up is Mr. Fingerhut.
What's happening? Good to see you all.
Good to see you. Hold on. I gotta remember. Hold on. I gotta remove pin. You'd think I've figured this out since 2020. Okay, here we go. What's up, Joe?
First of all,
Who wins the championship in the NBA? First of all, who wins? Go. Don't think. Go.
Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets. Okay. All right. Go
What do
ahead.
you What do you think?
Brooklyn Nets. What's up?
Welcome to Sports Talk Radio with Joe and Arel. Okay, 2 questions, real quick. Maybe I don't. Can you download a sheet with multiple testimonials on it of your choosing?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me pull up an example. So I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how we can do it right now. And okay. So let me unstar these, right? So the way to download
I
testimonials.
didn't even know you could do that. You could star
Oh,
them.
okay. Yes. For those of you unaware, there's a star function. So if you go to attendee testimonial and you click here and go to download shareable testimonial, you get one testimonial. However, if you go up here where it shares share this report and you click download testimonial, well, this is a longer one. So you want to do usually shorter ones. Like say I'm going to star this one, move it to the top, star this one, it moves it to the top. And then let's star one more. Maybe we can get a third one there. And then I go to share this report and go to download testimonials. It'll grab the first 2 or 3 testimonials and throw them onto one image. So it's all based upon space. If it's too, if they're too long, like these 3 are too long, then it'll be such tiny words on the report that you couldn't read it. So what I would recommend doing is if you want to download multiple testimonials with multiple ones on it, is just download this, then unstar it, and then go relatable and inspirational. Let's say I want to do those 2.
Okay.
I would choose 2 new ones, and then it'll throw. So the first 2 or 3 that are starred are how you throw multiple ones on there.
The default programming is it's going to catch the first 2 or 3. So that's what you have to do. Okay.
That's
my gosh, that's beautiful knowledge. Thank you.
That's why we're here, Joe. For the AMA.
That's why I'm here today. Okay, and then the other one, I appreciate the auto emails. I just did it for the first time on 2 keynotes 2 weeks ago, and it was a lot of effort off my plate. So thank you for doing that. My question is, it sounds and looks like it only does one follow-up email. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In
That's
the Talkadot scripts that y'all been so helpful to provide, it outlines a campaign where you reach out like 5 or 6 times, and I found that's been helpful. Personally, I use Mailshake. So integrating the 2, the Talkadot default email that you all have programmed with multiple reach outs, what I did was I let Talkadot do the default send out. That got a couple of responses. And then I just went in and downloaded the CSVs of all the leads. I took out the ones that responded to that one. And then I just went ahead with the 6 or 7 step campaign. Like, do you think, is that okay?
Well, here's the thing. If you already have a campaign set up and scheduled, like a lot of our users don't even have that. They're like, they hit us with the, I've had leads sitting in my inbox for in my lead section for 3 months and I never reach out to them. I want to shoot myself in the foot. So if you already have the system, you might benefit from just the Zapier integration. Are you using that or are you manually downloading?
No, I haven't. I just kind of that got on my radar just today with the.
Are you familiar with Zapier? Do you have a background in it or is it new?
No, I don't.
So what Zapier does is you basically, and it probably makes sense for me to show everyone how to do this. So you can take a Zap, and then when your data comes into Talkadot, it'll automatically go directly into Mailshake. So then you don't have to touch anything, and it will automatically do your 6-step campaign that you already have set up.
Okay, that's what I want, because
that's what I would recommend. Yeah,
it takes me. I've got the follow up in place, but I've been a little lazy. I let it go a couple days, but I appreciated you guys' automatic thing the morning after.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So what's good about that is that since you already have your automation set up, it would make more sense for you to just use the Zapier integration and maybe turn off hours so that it's not like stepping on each other's lines. And I can show you how to do it. Let me just do it real quick. I'm gonna show you real quick. Okay, let me show you how to do this real quick.
And Aurel, while you're doing that, because I got your back, I already used the Tech Advisor GPT and Chat GPT and put all the steps to do a Zap in the chat.
Oh, snap. I didn't see that.
It's okay. You're busy. You're answering questions. You're doing your thing. You're getting it on.
To you. Ooh, I'm gonna copy that. Shout out to Jen, everyone, for being such a rock star. So we're gonna create this is a perfect example of something that we're gonna put into our community where people are gonna say things like, well, how do I do a Zap? You just hit the community button, and we'll be like, hey, thanks to Jen, you all now know how to do a Zap. So folks can post stuff like this. It's gonna be really, really cool. So I'm gonna show you how to do this. There's a free version of this tool, a paid version of this tool. We don't build, we're not Zapier. Zapier is a totally separate company. We're just using their software. All you do is log in and hit create right here, and then hit Zap. And then it'll pull open the Zap. Don't worry about this box right here. This is their AI tool. I've never used it. I don't know how to use it, but I assume it works kind of like, I'm sure Jen could teach us how to use it. So you just go to trigger number 1. So you go to trigger and then you just type in Talkadot right here. And then Talkadot pops up and you say, great, the first thing that I want to do is Talkadot. And then it's going to say, well, what's your event? So you have 4 options with your event, okay? And let me explain what each one of them are so it's clear. The first one is a new attendee. The second is a new booking lead, a new email opt-in lead, and a new referral lead. So let me explain what all of these are, okay? The referral lead is very easy. These are everyone who is in your referral list in your Talkadot. The booking lead is everyone who's a booking lead. So maybe you want to do a different automation for them, like for the booking leads, than you want for the referral leads. You want them to get a different series of emails. So you can say, all right, everyone who comes in as a booking lead, I want them to get this series of emails, okay? Now, the 2 that I just want to point out is we've got new attendee and we've got new email opt-in. Now, new attendee means anyone that's in your system that has given you their email address, okay? New email opt-in are people who said they want to be on your email list. Now you might say, oh, well, that's confusing. Didn't you just say the same thing twice? I don't get what you just said. Well, here's the difference. Someone who is a booking lead could have opted out of being added onto your email list. They may have said, I want to book you, but I don't want to be on your email list, which they have the right to do. So if they said they want to book you, but they don't want to be on your email list, they're not going to be on your new email opt-in list. They're not going to be there because they've opted out of going on your email opt-in list. The new attendee list is every single human being that has given you their email, whether they've opted. So if they're a booking lead who said, yes, I want you to contact me to book me to speak, but no, I don't want to be on your list. So you want to use new attendee if you're doing like your own deep, like segmentation on the back end. If you're not doing that deep segmentation on the back end and you're like, bruh, keep it real simple, then the only 3 that matter to you are the new booking lead, the new email opt-in lead, and the new referral lead. So the new email opt-in lead are all of the people that can be added to your email newsletter list. So you can say, hey, when someone is a new email opt-in, throw them onto my newsletter list, and then your newsletter just keeps cranking out doing what it do. Someone's a new booking lead, you could put them on that list. So let's say it's a new booking lead for illustrative purposes. I click new booking lead, and it says, great. Then I click continue, okay? Now it's gonna ask me to sign in to Talkadot. So you gotta give them permission. So let's just go through the process so you can see it all. It's gonna say, do you wanna give them access? You're gonna say yes, grant access. And then it's gonna go, boom, access has been granted. And then hit continue. It's gonna test. Yeah, does it all look good? Now it's gonna like give you an example of this is what first name is, this is what last name is. Basically, if this pops up, just go great, continue with selected record. Now you wanna send it somewhere. So if I'm Joe, I wanna send it to Mailshake, right? Now I don't have a Mailshake account, so I'm not gonna use Mailshake. But if you had Mailshake, Joe, you would send it to Mailshake. But I'm gonna send it to ConvertKit because I have a ConvertKit account and I can use that for illustrative purposes. I'm going to say when a new booking lead comes into Talkadot, I want them to get a tag. So I'm just going to use, if you don't know what these terms are, it's just a way of identifying someone in my email list. So I want to add a tag to subscriber. I'm going to hit continue. They're going to ask me to sign in. I'm going to say, sure, happy to sign in. This is a step I'm not going to do. So basically you have an API key within your thing. I'd have to log into my ConvertKit and then grab my API and put it in here, which basically just gives ConvertKit permission to do that. If anyone needs help with that, every single one of your email software providers show you how to access that API. Let me just, hold on. Let me log in my account. Let me pause for a second here. Let me just grab my dang API key so I can show it to you. This is another step, hold on. Where you at? API, Okay, I'm gonna grab this, copied it. You can't see what I'm doing. I've paused my screen because if y'all see my API key, then you can do all sorts of wild, nefarious things that none of you would ever do, of course. All right, boom. Okay, great. All right, Dang it. It's asking me to I gotta reconnect it. Hold on. Come on, API key. Work for me now. Oh, geez Louise. It's saying my API key is invalid. Hold on. Let me go. This is not as smooth. I'm gonna make a video. Okay, I'm gonna make a video that's smooth because my API key is asking me to re-log in, which doesn't make sense. But basically, what would happen if my API key was working for ConvertKit, which has nothing to do with Talkadot, by the way. This is, but basically, I would add ConvertKit here and say add them to my booking leads on ConvertKit, and then I would hit go, like enter here. And then anytime a booking lead would come in to Talkadot, it would automatically move them over into my, in your case, Mailshake, in my case, ConvertKit. And then your emails would automate, and literally you can be drinking an actual milkshake while your Mailshake is sending out emails, and you don't have to do anything. So I'm going to make a clean tutorial video and post that on our Facebook page, and then our LinkedIn, and then in our community group. That's a long way of answering your question, Joe, but hopefully it was thorough.
But it does answer the question, so thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Can you go back to that very first where it was booking a lead and then you had the other examples? Like basically, if you want one email to go to people who are like, yes, I'm going to pay you money and book you, let's jump on your calendar. And then you've got everyone else who's like, I'm just going to get the generic welcome email. Here's your freebie. Which is that second one?
The generic one is new email opt-in.
New email opt-in. Okay.
So new attendee is the best way to look at it. Is new attendee should only be used if you know what you're doing with your data on the back end, and you're going to be like slicing it and dicing it. And these are for more advanced folks. But if you're like me, which is like super simple, new booking lead, new email opt-in, new referral lead. The bottom three are the only ones that you're going to want to like really mess with.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Let's go to Yasmin.
You coming to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I always like to say I'm not that exotic. I'm just regular Jasmine, but I'll be.
No, I
Yasmin.
wanted to add a little wide to it. It felt right. It felt right.
Yasmin has me spice me up today on this snowy Monday in Minnesota. OMG.
Shout out to the snow. Don't go away, snow. I want the snow to stay.
No snow. So a couple of questions, and I know these have probably been answered in a previous Ask Me Anything, but I missed them, so I'm just going to ask them now. Going back to Joe's comment, for some reason, my speaker flow and Talkadot integration thing disconnected for a while, and I didn't even realize it until like 2 months ago. We've got it fixed. So I have like some late last year leads. What would the best practice be for engaging them? What would that be? My second question is, you know, as a perfectionist, I always want to get like 100%. And sometimes these 94s and 95s and 93s make me feel some kind of way. What is the best practice on like the scale for you know, all of the different areas when, you know, or am I just being in my feelings about a 94 and I should be like, shut up, girl? And
so I'm
gonna
answer your second question because I'm gonna forget all these questions. Don't answer. I'm already forgetting the first one. Hold on. The second one is simple. Name one human that 100% of everyone loves. Go.
Nobody, and not even Jesus or bacon or ice cream.
Yeah, Nutella doesn't even get 100%.
I
and it's
know,
Nutella,
but I'm like, does
right?
Nutella get like 98? You know, so should I be beating myself up for a 94?
What I would say, this is the best advice, because this comes up a lot, and it's not just you, by the way. A lot of people say, like, because, you know, it's very normal. You speak to 300 people, 2 people say they don't want to hear from you speak again. And that's all we look at. We're like, you stupid 2 people. Why don't you want to hear? This was a good message. You know, like that's what we do, right? But I go back to, like, there was not one human in the history of humanity that 100% loved. I'm not going to be the first, and neither are you. Okay. Right. So that's number one. Number two, I look at it like a report card. If I'm getting A's, I'm good. And an A is like 93 or higher. right? So if I'm an A student, I'm cool. Now in college, I was like a B minus student, right? So like I would even be happy with 80s, right? I would be super happy with 80s. So I think you have to get what your baseline is and then just figure out like, okay, well, what are things that I can do? And there's lots of things to move the needle. Maybe I can try more humor. Maybe, I mean, this is where it gets so subjective that I couldn't give you specific advice. But if you're getting 90s, that's good, because you got to keep in mind, and I'll say, and I can't give away anyone's personal information. Not everyone gets 90s in our system. Not everybody. There's lots of people who don't, and those people don't post it on social media typically. If they got a 70, they're not posting it, right? So that's why you don't see them. Like we see them, but like, you know, we're not going to shout them out or anything. So the people who are doing good like to share it. So I'll answer that quickly because it's the easiest one. You are in your feelings. Get out your feelings. Unless you want to be in them. I can't tell you how to live your life. What was your first question? I already forgot it. Dang it. What was it?
The first question was,
Oh, reinvigorating people.
right.
What I would do is I would send them an email and say, hey, Joe, John, whatever it might be. I was sitting down and thinking about the event that I hosted with X 3 months ago, or last December, or last November. And I went through my system and I saw your name. And I wanted to reach out just to touch base to see how things have been going since our talk. If you remember, I talked about X, Y, and Z. Just wanted to touch base with you to see how things have been since our talk. So it's basically like a wellness check, like hey, it's been 2 months since you've heard my message. It's been 6 months since you heard my message. I want to see how things have been going. Do you need any support? And so it's more of a curiosity. You're not going to send them that email and be like, you want to jump on a call and book a meeting? Like that's too, you know, it's like that person you haven't spoke to on Facebook in 6 months and then they hit you up like, you want to help me move? You're like, no, I don't. What? No, right? So I would start there and then see who re-engages, and then say, hey, you know what? I got some cool resources. Do you mind if I shoot them over to you? Or, you know, oh, you know, I'm in the process of booking out. So you let the natural conversation unfold. Or you can ask for them to like submit a question to you, like, hey, I'm going to be writing an article, or I'm going to be doing a LinkedIn live on, you know, X. I'd love to know what your thoughts are, you know, just something to re-engage, but consider it a wellness check, and then you'll be in a really good spot.
Yeah, and this is probably a good time with like the in the Q1 coming up.
Exactly. It's the end of the quarter. You know, we're about to be in April, which is wild, right? And just want to see how Q1's been going. Like, how have you been carpe dieming it? You know, so it's a check in with them. I think that's it. What's the third question?
I can't remember, so it must not have been that important. I didn't write it down. Thank you.
That's okay. If you remember, just let me know. Happy to help. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Paul, I know you had a question about Zapier and my ConvertKit. For some reason, wanted to be foolish, but if I can get it to work, I'll show you it.
Okay, I think I got it. I think I got it now. And thank you, Jen. I'd seen that she put it in the chat, and I copied and pasted it so that I can go back to it later. I've done it before. It's just every time I do one, it's like, oh my God, where do I start and how do I get it figured out, right? So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. What I actually picked up some other things that I didn't even think about today. So thank you for other people asking questions. What I wanted to do was, is it possible to share? I have 3 speaking engagements that I did, all with good results. I've shared individual reports. Is there a way to put the reports together? Is it as simple as merge events?
Yes. So when, just for clarity, because the merge events are there's your public profile, which I can show you, and then the merge. Those are 2 different use cases. Do you want to put them together to share 2 separate reports, but with one person, or do you want to put the data into one report?
Well, I want to be able to share a report, like just be able to share a link either to social media or to the people I'm soliciting for future, saying, hey, here's a link, take a look at you know, this
Copy.
report with what I've taught recently
that.
and all of the testimonials.
So here's what I would recommend. I got my key for ConvertKit to work. So if anyone wants me to go back to Zapier, I can do it now. What you want to do is when you log into your account, Paul, right here where your face is, you're going to see this little thing called your public profile right here as the first drop down. When you click on your public profile, it'll bring you to a link that looks like talkadot.com/s/Paul. what this link does is it takes all of your data and puts it into one public profile. So this is out of 4,134 people. Here's how many people found me valuable. Here's how many people want to hear me speak again. But then when you scroll down, you can also add an about section. So if you want to put a little bit about who you are. But when you scroll down, it has a link to all of your speaking engagements here. So you can send this one link here, which is your public profile link, as like, you know, on social media or in your email signature or as part of a marketing campaign. And then people can see your overall data, but then they can click here and go, okay, well, let me see what this goal setting was like. Ooh, you got some pretty good scores. And ooh, here's what people had to say. So that would be the best way to share multiple reports with one link, is just use your public profile link, which is this one.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you.
Cool. No, thank you for being here. And by the way, that's one of the things that I like about just acknowledging it, is that these sessions are good if you have a question, but a lot of people show up and they don't have a question because they just want to hear what other questions people are asking. And this is really, really helpful in that way. So happy to do that. Lisa, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Yeah, fantastic. So I have a question related to lead nurturing, right?
Mhm.
So I have, just kind of getting started with Talkadot. I have 3 engagement reports that are in there. And, but I haven't done any real follow-up with the exception of the first group on
Okay.
leads, right?
Yep.
So my question is concerning how do I, what's the best approach in terms of creating the sequencing, like let's say using the automated message that comes out from Talkadot.
Mhm.
And then if I want to remind them of things that we talked about specifically in that session,
Mhm.
if I create a sequence associated with opt-ins, right?
Mhm.
I want it to be consistent enough to where I don't have to change the messaging for
Mhm.
each organization that I spoke to. So
Yeah.
what are your recommendations on that as far as the content that is consistent across each of my presentations? Should I build it around that? Or
Yeah.
how would I
When
navigate?
you do your presentations, are you doing vastly different presentations, or are you doing one like, is it like leadership themed, or is there a certain theme to it?
Yeah, so they are, there's a framework that I use that is consistent. There
Perfect.
are 5 E's that I teach on, but based on that organization's needs, I typically will customize my message to meet their needs, and I may
Of course.
emphasize a particular E, right? So I don't
Yeah.
go through all of them in detail,
That
but
makes
it's, you know what I mean? If it's about the event, if it's about changing of an environment, if it's about entrepreneurship and taking ownership of your career, like this last one was about, it could vary. So I'm just wondering how best to leverage the
Yeah. So
tools.
yours is going to be really kind of, I don't want to say easy, but it's going to be straightforward because you have a framework. Okay.
Okay.
So what I would do is, like, as an example here. So now that I got my convert kit, like, just, so I would say, like, I want to add these people to my, you know, my, what do you call it? Like, let's call it like, you know, oh, you're seeing all my stuff here. Let's say this one, right? This is your email newsletter. Okay. So you want to add people to your email newsletter list, right? So then you just map it to this email here, and then you map it to their first name, which is here. And then you can say, okay, every time someone comes in, I want them to go and get this tag. And in my system, when they get this tag, I can hit test step. And then if all looks good, like, I just want to finish this to go to answer your question. And then
Yep.
all I would do is hit publish here.
Mhm.
And then anytime, I'm not going to hit that for illustrative purposes, but all I would do is hit publish. And then anytime a new booking lead would come in, they would get add to this tag and then get put into this email list, and then they're good to go. So what do you do in your particular case? Well, you've got a framework. So you can walk people through that framework in your first few emails. Now, you mentioned 5 E's. So you can say, hey, thanks so much for attending my session. The framework that I use for impacting lives is this 5E framework. What I'm going to do is show you over the next couple of emails how these show up, right? So, email 1 is the first E. Email 2 is the second E. Email 3 is the, 4th, 5th, and you get to the 5th E, right? So those are like your first 5. And you're just giving content. If you have any like articles that you've written in the past that are particularly high value, I recommend either repurposing them as an email or linking to them as an email, right? I'm a big believer. One of the things that I've done, which I don't think this is like a secret in any way, but I'll write every now and again, I'll write an introspective Facebook post, right? And then I'll copy that and then throw it into a Google document. And then that will be the premise of my email newsletter list, because I'm creating that content anyway. So I copy it, throw it into a Google Doc. So I have like a file, and then I go, ooh, this is good to go to my list. And then I just add that to my list. And then you'll see that if you're already creating content, take the content you're creating for social media and just now add it to your email newsletter so that it's automated. Like I have an email newsletter that when certain folks come into a certain funnel, they'll get 1 email per week for 52 weeks, right? For a whole year. Now, did I sit down and write 52 emails? No, I just took 52 of my best Facebook posts and turned those into emails that are spaced out a week from each other. So that's the best way to nurture, because if you're creating content anyway for social media, which many of us are, just repurpose that, copy the content, paste it into your email, and then, you know, just put it like a week after the previous email and then nurture.
So when you're doing that, I like that approach, and thank you for affirming like my framework and how that could roll out. When you're copying prior, I guess the caption from Facebook, you're putting it in verbatim. Are you doing anything with it to kind of make it?
Yeah, I'll edit it just slightly, because typically I might say something in a Facebook post like, hey, before you jump down to the comment section, please read the rest of this. So obviously that wouldn't make sense in an email newsletter, right?
Sure.
So I would just read it to make sure, but like 99% of it is exactly the same. I'm just positioning it. Now, what I like to do as a personal philosophy is I like to give content, and then in the PS is my call to action. So every email has a call to action. So you might need to add a call to action to your email, because you wouldn't put a call to action in a Facebook post. So like, for example, I might put a post about like dealing with like a personal challenge and how I've overcome it. On Facebook, I would just write that, and that's where it ends. In the email, I would add, if you know people in your organization that are facing the same challenge and you'd love to bring in a speaker that can touch upon that, click here to get in touch with me. So I would add something like that, so I have a call to action in the email, but it's, you know, 99% content, 1% call to action.
Got it. Okay. Is that the same as the give, sell, where it's only
Exactly.
gives and then a sell? Sounds like you
Yeah,
got
but
gives.
so yeah, some people like to do like jab, right hook, give, sell. I like every email to have like in the PS. It's very unobtrusive. It's very, but if I never know which one of my emails is going to strike a nerve. Like I might write an email and someone goes, ooh, like that. We need that. So I always like to make it easy for people to get in touch. So that's why I do it as a PS.
Yeah. Okay.
PS if you need that. So I like to give, but the PS is always a sale, I guess, or a right hook. But it's gentle. It's not overbearing.
Okay. Got it. Appreciate it. All right. So I'm gonna start to, you know, frame this out and put it in place, and I'll check back in with you and let you know.
Yeah, and I would just go through each one of your E's, because they're already, you know, those are your first 5 emails, you know, and someone may have come in on the 3rd E and they don't know about 1, 2, 4, 5. And now you educate them on it, and that's like a good thing.
Right. And you had mentioned something on last week's call regarding, like, I currently have MailChimp, and I think I have a pro version. It's more than just the basic. But I haven't explored all of its capabilities as yet, right? You mentioned something about there's a change coming as it relates to the spam filters and our ability to use, like my MailChimp is currently tied to my Gmail account. I do have a domain name, but I haven't associated it with that tool. So can you just kind of remind us about those changes and what we need to do now to prepare?
So it's basically Google, who basically, I assume, controls 99% of all email, because all of us use Gmail. Unless some of y'all are still holding on to Hotmail. Shout out to you Hotmail holdouts. Earthlinks, you know, all those folks. So they're trying to cut down on cold emails, basically. Excuse me, spam emails. So emails are going to be much more likely to go to spam than they've ever been before, and people are going to be able to mark things as spam before. So if you're emailing like your friend or like, you know, your colleague, nothing really is going to change. It's the mass email, like what you're talking about. So there's certain trigger words that, like, you know, free or drug or cannabis, or, you know, there's certain like words that create a spam filter. And they're just going to be way tighter on it than they've ever been before. So what you're going to see is, I don't want to go too deep into the like tech side. So there's shared IP addresses. Typically, when you do a bulk mail share, what that basically means is 50 people are on one of MailChimp's IP address. Now, let's say one of those out of 50 people is like a jerk. And they're just like, you want Viagra? You want Viagra? You want Viagra? You want Viagra? Right? Now, you're not doing any of those things. You're like a legit person. But because the way that they do it, they do shared IP addresses. If that person gets flagged as spam enough, and you happen to be on a shared IP address as them, their negativity could come over to you, right? That's an example of one case. So you've got to be squeaky clean to be able to be like, no, I'm not that. So it's really complex, and it's really like, and I'm giving a very general description of it. It's more on the tech side of it that I can't explain easily.
Sure.
But basically, you just want to make sure you're not using any words like, you know, even free, you know, like free thing could potentially be it. So people are all keeping an eye on it. Google's done a good job of scaring us without necessarily letting us know exactly what it, because, you know, Google never gives you their algorithm. They never give you like how it, they just say we're making changes. So there's a lot of like, you know, like scariness involved in it, but just don't say anything that would sound to you like a spammy person might say, which again, we probably wouldn't do, but you know, humans be humans, and we'll say like, for a limited time, I'm going to give you free access to this miracle drug, you know, like miracle drug, you know, healing, you know, certain words can trigger it. And they're just going to be a lot more, you know, on it. That's all.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
one last thing, real quick,
Yeah.
just to kind of test this theory about spam. And I think someone also said last week that when your system isn't used to receiving communication from a particular address and it's the first time, then sometimes those messages automatically go to spam. So I
Correct.
literally tested that out last week where I used my domain name email and I sent it to someone who I work with directly. And she said that the message was found in her spam. So
yeah. So if you've never emailed someone before, the odds of you getting into their spam boxes, it's never been higher. If anyone's interested in checking your domain name's health, you can go to this link right here, which I put in the chat. And you can put in your domain name and it'll tell you how healthy your domain name is. Now, as long as, you know, if you have a brand new domain, like I just registered it 2 weeks ago, all your emails are going to spam. None of your email, you gotta do what's called warming up your domain, which is basically just emailing people who like your friend would go, yes, it was in spam. I will move it out of spam and mark it as safe. You've got to do that a bunch. They're going to throw way more stuff into spam, because what spammers do is they get new email addresses and they spam hundreds of thousands of people, and then they just repeat that process. So they're trying to cut down on that. It's a whole thing, and I'm not explaining it nearly as well as I probably should, but just know, don't use any words that might seem at even legitimately, if you can heal like a broken leg, maybe don't use the word heal. Don't use the word miracle. You know, it's just these words trip the spam filter.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Jasmine just put in the chat spam trigger words. So I haven't looked at that, but I'm sure they're well known. Jen, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Good. Quick question. So I'm going to use a term that I don't really like using, but it's in a good way. if I'm following up with somebody who I didn't get through a Talkadot speaking gig, let's say I was speaking somewhere else before Talkadot, and there's BT and there's AT, and we all know a world after Talkadot is much better. Would you recommend the same serious sequence, the same, like you guys are pretty much like send this every 2 to 3 days, send this every 2 to 3 days until you get a response, and then after that, hands off, or try to re-engage in a couple months, or what do you think?
I mean, what I typically do is yes. So I would say it's pretty much similar. Now, keep in mind, I say this with a grain of salt that everyone's audience is slightly different and responds to things. This is it's kind of like saying eat vegetables. There are some people who shouldn't eat vegetables because there's like an enzyme in their stomach that doesn't digest like eggplant well, right? So just know that it's a general rule, but yes, I would say do that. And what I typically would do is put all of those people onto some form of an email newsletter for sure, and then let them unsubscribe if they want to, or just let them keep getting your stuff over time. But I like to 5 and then I'm done. 3 to 5, like
Okay,
maybe even 3, but like 3 to 5 is my like. That's it.
cool. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being so great, by the way.
You're welcome.
Jamar!
Around all y'all. That's why.
Arel, how's it going, brother?
Good to see you, brother. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I've got a laundry list of questions to ask you because it's been a while
go.
since I've seen you. The
All good.
simplest one I'll start with, how can you update your photo? I'm in there in the back in the settings right now, and I can't seem to find any way to update the photo that I have.
Yeah, I got your back. I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen. So what you want to do is click on your face right here in the upper right-hand corner and go down to settings,
Yep.
right? And then you see where your image is?
Yes.
Click on it.
That's
And
what I'm
then-
doing. And I'm getting the bubble, like it's clicking, but nothing's happening there.
Can you share your screen? Can I take a look?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's troubleshoot it together.
That says, there we go. All right, can you see it?
I can see it. So go ahead and click on it.
I'm wondering, is this maybe a Chrome issue? Maybe if I log
Hit
in-
refresh on your browser.
Yeah.
This is my version of the Fonzarelli. Ooh, maybe. Oh, you may have logged out accidentally. Okay, click there. Go to your settings. Now click on it. Is it not popping up?
Nothing's popping up. Do you see the little bubble?
I wonder if you have a pop-up blocker.
Let me see here.
Do you see where it says? You see on the right it says relaunch to update. I wonder if you're stuck in between a Chrome. So relaunch it.
I'll relaunch it right now.
Yeah, and it'll do whatever Google Chrome does.
Got it. So while that's going on, a couple things. Can you talk to us a little bit about, I think you mentioned it briefly at the beginning of the call, the community that you're trying to build around the tool.
Yeah.
What are going to be some of the benefits of that community?
Yeah, so within the tool, when you log into your account, you'll be able to go directly there. So if you have any questions, like in the moment, like,
Okay.
I can't get my thing to work, what's wrong? You can email us, and of course we're here to help, but we have community members who are just like so available. And sometimes what's happening is we're getting so many emails that it just may take us a day to get back to folks. So we want to use our community. So that's number one. Number two, all of the pro training. So like we're doing a pro training tomorrow on the best place to find speaking opportunities, right? So all of the recordings will be in one channel right there within the community. Folks ask us for things like, oh, I want to get access to my that email follow-up system. Right now you have to email us to get that. That's going to be right there in the system, so you could just download and use it. I want to figure out how to do a Zapier integration. We're going to have a whole, and then we're also going to have discussion channels as well. So for like college speaking, youth speaking, association speaking, corporate speaking. So if people have questions about a specific thing, they can leverage, we've got thousands of users now, which is really awesome. So we can leverage all of this like lifting as we climb. So the main benefits is that you can go in and get any specific question that you have about Talkadot answered. Any resource that we have available to you, it'll be right there for you to access it without having to reach out to us. And if you have any questions about anything in general, you can leverage the benefit of the community as well.
Okay, great. That's super helpful. Kind of piggybacking on that, obviously we're all speakers here, but have you thought about different ways that other people can use it? I'm thinking, for example, like YouTubers, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a
Yeah.
huge network of YouTubers. In fact, I'm in a group with 33 of us, and we're all like influencers paid through a sponsorship, for example.
Okay.
And all of them obviously have channels. And so, you know how it works. YouTube people comment below, but there's no way to capture all of that goodwill or the positive feedback and have it in one place as you can repurpose it. You have to
Yeah.
kind of, each video is its own silo, so to speak. So I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking YouTubers could definitely use this to get feedback and also create some more central communication, because obviously you don't really own your subscribers on YouTube
That's right.
or
That's right.
Instagram or right.
Yeah. So so yes and no, and I'll explain why yes and no. So right now, we as a company are totally focused on the vertical of speakers, and we want to build out the best possible tool. A couple of dev cycles. So a dev cycle is like a 4 to 6 week period of time where we work on a new feature. One of the dev cycles is going to be higher customization of our tool, because right now the language, even our current users are like, oh, I want to change this wording, but I can't. So once we allow that level of customization, a YouTuber could easily come into our system, change it around, and still have all of the benefits of Talkadot. But so that's the yes. When that customization is there, I would tell all of the YouTubers like, hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Scan this QR code. Let me know what you thought about this video. And then I'll give you access to my 5 stocks that Paul Graham will never like tell you about, whatever,
Yeah.
right? So you can do that, and I think it'd be great, and it would still go through the same flow and create the reports and all of the great features and usage we have. It'll just be built for them. But we are kind of like blinders on building a tool for speakers, so folks could use it, but we're not going to optimize for folks outside of the speaking world right now.
No, I totally get that. That makes sense. Trying to have that laser focus. So with that being the case, is something down the line in the realm of white labeling, so that
Yes.
speakers. So for example, like I have my own coaching cohort, for example, but like just being frank with you, like your affiliate program, it's cute, but it's not really incentivized, because it's like I'm sending you business. The LTV of that customer in the life cycle of the app is enormous. So there's not really a huge incentive for me to like share certain tools versus other tools.
Yeah.
So if you
Well,
create
one
that white
thing.
label,
Yeah, so yes, we're gonna be doing something a little bit more robust with that. If you did have like, hey, I think we can do something, like reach out to me. We can do we can talk a little bit.
okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Because one of the groups I'm in is with AppSumo with Noah Kagan, right?
Yeah.
So we've got a growing group of influencers. We've got a core group, but obviously we want to create a farm system. So while I'm doing that, I want to be able to, I use Go High Level, for example, as my main software platform that I can leverage out. So that question's answered. What about resources? So for example, someone just mentioned, hey, I want to make sure my emails don't go to spam. I'm familiar with tools that use AI to automatically scan emails, tell people what trigger words are, and do 2 things: either allow you to use a thesaurus to change those words, and or emojify those words so that the words actually become emojis that the spam filter doesn't pick up. It becomes almost like an image.
Yeah.
For stuff like that, are you creating a community where we can share things like that, or
Yes.
you want us to
Yes.
email you to go through that? How what that?
No, that's a perfect example of what we're gonna have the community for.
Okay.
So there's gonna be all these cool features. So people say, hey everyone, there's a whole thread on email like deliverability has been dropping. Here's some cool resources, so folks can go in and post that. So we won't be the governor stopping
Got
that. We
Okay.
want that to happen.
Okay, fantastic. And then lastly, you've seen what's been happening on like a platform called School, correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So community, my word of the year for me is community, community, community. And obviously you want to be a part of great communities, and you want to help grow great communities. And obviously I've been, following you for quite some time. So I'm looking forward to that
Yeah.
aspect being beefed up.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, School with Hermosi and the other dude. What's the other dude's name?
Yeah, Ovens.
Sam Ovens. Yeah, Sam
Ovens,
Ovens. Yeah. Yeah, so they're they're doing a great job. They're like blowing up. They can't do anything but blow up. Like that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Very
Boom.
cool. Did
So
your
that's
Chrome re-update?
Yeah, I restarted it. It worked.
It
Pictures
works now.
updated.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was just Chrome being Chrome. Google being
Yeah.
Google. All right,
Yeah.
but yo, dude, reach out, man. I'm happy to happy to talk more.
I certainly will, because I just did an event last weekend for about 250 people. It was a charity event. The
Mhm.
acoustics in the place weren't great. I
Mhm.
helped them raise the goal that they needed monetarily, but when it
Yeah.
was time for me to do my after action report, I had my QR code on the screen. I only got a couple of signups, but I got a lot of people who came up to me and I got their personal. I had to go man to man, because
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do that. But the group is willing to have me send an email out to everybody. So I'm thinking I'll just attach the link there.
Yeah, and do you know how to get your direct link to your slide?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I just tested it.
Perfect.
Talk.ac/your name.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you something just so you're aware
Okay.
of this functionality. When you are on your home screen here, so let's say your code was growth. That was the one you were sending out. If you
Okay.
click on these three dots right here and go to copy code link,
Okay.
it'll actually give you a link that when you put it in here, it automatically embeds the code.
The
So
code.
the first screen they get is here, so they don't have to manually enter it in. So it
Got it.
just saves your audience one step.
Got it. And that whole thanks for your time, can you customize that at all? That thanks for your time screen, just like that. What's the first thing that they see? Because I would love to be able to customize it to the event.
Yes. So when I was talking about the higher level of customization,
Okay.
that's when you're right now everything is on Rails.
Got it.
So
Got
there's
it.
not much hard coded. But when
We
we
don't
open
Rails.
it up, you'll be able to do that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, brother.
The timeline for that, just roughly speaking.
You ever have someone build a deck for you and you say, hey man, how long is it gonna take to build my deck? And they go 4 to 6 weeks, and then it's never 4 to 6 weeks. That's what programming is. So that customization is on our roadmap for like the second or third dev cycle from where we are today.
Okay.
So give or take a couple of months, but it's like building a deck. Like
Got it. Okay. Got it.
everything is always more
No
work
worries,
than
no
you think.
worries. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Paul, last question, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
All right. Yeah, so it's interesting that you brought up school. I'm actually building an academy on a different platform, and I'm like, I've checked out school, and I'm like, I might need to check it out again because I like that idea of community, and I didn't realize that Hermosi was the one behind that. So,
Yeah.
have
Let's
to
link up,
reevaluate
Paul.
that.
Paul, I have 2 communities running on school currently, so we should link up if you want some insights.
Yeah, definitely, Jamar. Let me. How can I reach out to you? You drop your contact in the chat, maybe.
Yeah, I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay,
If you don't
great.
mind, Rel, I don't want to.
No,
Yeah.
this is I want all this to happen. This is all we want to happen. Yeah. We'll just
Yeah,
hopefully
very
make
cool.
this easier once we have our community
Yeah.
within Talkadot, so people can just
Yeah.
be like, hey man, I got a school, I can hook you up.
Yeah.
So the last question, you mentioned the training tomorrow. I'm still on the trial. I got a few more days, and I'm definitely going pro. I don't know if I'll make that happen this week. My next gig after Thursday isn't until June, so I'm like, all right, maybe I just wait. But can we get on there if we're in a trial for that?
Yeah,
training
great
tomorrow?
question. So the Talkadot Pro trainings are only for pro folks who have upgraded. So those of us who are on a pro trial, unfortunately, are not invited. It's for the cool kids, but everyone's a cool kid. I shouldn't say that. Everyone's a cool kid. But if and when you upgrade, then you'll be able to access those.
Well, that sounded like a good training tomorrow. So might just push me along and get me signed up today.
I would invite you to consider joining the Talkadot Pro community. It's a good group of people. We put out lots of great special content just for you. We'd love to have you, Paul. Love to.
Well, I love the app. It's functional. It was easy for me to learn overall. So, I just figured, well, if I don't have another gig till June, then, just let it roll. But you know what? I'll probably get on there this afternoon and
do it. Everyone just say, do it. Yeah. Obviously make the choice you want to make, but it's going to be a really, really good training, and we'll go with some really specific strategies that I think would be helpful between now and June for you to implement. So I would encourage it, obviously, but make the choice that's right for you.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Cool. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Jamar, hit up Paul. Paul, hit up Jamar. Stay connected. Thank you all for joining us. I love these sessions. They always energize me. I always get so much out of them by doing them with you. And I think there's so much more learning and lifting as we can climb. Jasmine's hands up. What's up, Jasmine?
You have time. I put my other question that I found.
Oh, what was it? I missed it. I'm sorry.
It was about best practices for sharing your overall profile. Is anyone including a link to it in pitches? I've been doing that.
Oh, yeah. So in general, I put it in my email signature. That's where it lives the most. When I'm doing email marketing, like outbound business development marketing, it's always in there as well as like, check out what the last 4,000 people have had to say. So that's where I have it live the most, right? It's on my website as well. So on my website, it says click here to, there's like a screenshot of, we're going to make it easier to share your profile image. Right now, I just do it as a screenshot. So it's there. And then when someone clicks on that, it links over to the profile. So those are the 3 places where it lives the most. The link, the email signature, in my outbounds, and then on my website. If anyone has any other ideas, I'm open too.
So I can get your email signature back anyway. So I'm gonna send you an email.
Your email, do you use YStamp for your email? So let me just show you real quick. I use YStamp. It's free. They also have a paid version of it. So let me just pull it up here. So YStamp, again, this is another great thing that I would put in our community, right? So YStamp creates signatures like this.
That's nice.
There's probably lots of other people. Jamar, do you know of any other groups that use it? Do you like YStamp?
I haven't used that one. I've used some different ones, but that's clean. I really like that. It's nice and simple and allows you to
it's simple, it's easy. And then on so this is what my when I'm like doing speaking, but on my Talkadot email, I just added a button, which again, totally optional. But it looks like this. So it's this is my Talkadot email. So it's the same kind of vibe. I just added this like call to action button. So every time I send an email, people get that in there. So that's kind of where it lives. And again, YStamp is a free tool and also has a paid version as well. I think it's YStamp. I'll just show it to you just so you can.
Or do you have that on your website? Check out what the last 6,000 people have said.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah, I just upgraded. They were doing 30% off. But if you email them occasionally, they'll sometimes offer 50% off to go pro. Because I just switched to pro because I'm an Apple person and it doesn't work as well on Apple. So without pro.
Copy. Yeah, I mean they make life more difficult, They're like, oh, you wanna. Yeah, I mean that's the kind of the key, which is like, how do I make something really useful, but also not fully useful?
Yeah.
Unless you pay for it. Okay, so I'm on my website here. Can you see my website? So this is just an example of where I put it. So this is one of the speaking engagements. So I'm like, here's my speaking engagement. Here's what it's about. Here are my outcomes. Here's a video. And then I click like, here's my image. And then it takes you over to my Talkadot profile right here. I have to obviously update it because that's one of the things that we would like to do is right now we have this embedded. And then I put some of my testimonials here as well. And then contact me form, right? So this is an example of how I leverage some of the data. What we're going to do as one of our dev cycles is turn this into a widget that you can embed onto your website so that as your data comes in, you don't have to screenshot it over and over. It'll just automatically update and then people can click over. So that's part of one of the like upcoming things we want to do to make it easier for people to access your data.
Fantastic.
Yep. Coolio. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. Listen, if you got some friends that are speakers, can you tell them about Talkadot, please? Could you let them know? Be like, hey, just ask them this question. Hey, curiosity, are you using Talkadot? And if they say no, just punch them in the face. Just let them have the business. 2-piece. Pow, pow. Don't do that. This is recorded. I don't want someone to cut that clip and then say that Talkadot. It's supporting violence. Don't actually, it was a metaphor. Just encourage them. Use the tool. I like you. I want you to do well with your life. That's all. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. I'll see all the Talkadot Pro users tomorrow. If you can't make it live, I really hope you make it live. It's really, really fun to make it live. If not, don't worry, you'll get the recording. And it'll be lots and lots of fun. So thanks so much for being here. Tell your speaker friends about Talkadot. Unless you don't like them, then just tell them you use Google Forms and keep it a secret. I'll talk to y'all later.
Peace.